I redid this desk approximately 6 or 7 years ago, and my wonderful neighbor's daughter purchased it from me all those years ago. And my neighbors were moving, and they offered it back to me, and I said, sure, let me make it over again. I started off sanding off the old finish with a high grit sandpaper. I used a 120 to reveal this beautiful wood grain. The existing paint was holding up great. There was no peeling paints, no chips, but there was some areas with some missing veneer. So I'm using some all-purpose Bondo, and I'm going to fill in that missing veneer. This is a two-part mixture, so it's about a 17-to-1 ratio, 17 being the Bondo, 1 being the hardener. You only need a very small drop to the Bondo to activate it. I'm using a Varathane aged wood accelerator on my wood grain. I will link below down in the description a very detailed tutorial on how I used this product. Off camera, I cleaned the hardware really well and then gave it a nice scuff sand and then cleaned off the debris again before I used the spray paint to brighten them up and make them look like new. I often mix paints and make my own colors, and I have this teal color that I'm going to be adding some green to, but I want to make it like a chalky finish. So I'm adding a splash of water and some plaster of Paris, and I'm mixing that in really well. I don't really have an exact recipe for my homemade chalk paint. I've been making it for so long and I've just eyeballed it. You really can't screw it up if you add too much. You just add a little bit more water or a little bit more paint. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll say I used about 3 cups of paint and approximately a half cup of plaster of Paris and approximately a fourth of a cup of water. Mixed up really well till all of the chunkiness is gone. Then I'm adding some of this green latex paint to my mixed up plaster of Paris and paint because I don't want my desk to be teal or turquoise. I want it to be more green. One thing I love about Bondo is it dries so fast in about 15 minutes. It's great when you are impatient, and then you can sand it. And I only needed 2 coats of paint to completely cover this desk. And I use this 1 coat polyurethane to seal the top. I added some of the polyurethane into my paint, mixed it up really well for my final coat. That way I have a built-in sealer into my paint. This helps minimize brush strokes when you are applying your sealer. Finally, using a high grit sanding sponge, I sanded in between my coats of my polyurethane and I sanded my final coat to get a ultra smooth, beautiful finish. I wiped off all of the excess sanding dust with a paper towel and water. And after that, the desk was completed. Let's have a quick look at the before we check out the final review. I was so happy to get the opportunity to redo this desk again and make it beautiful once more. Let me know what you all think down in the comments, and hopefully I have earned your subscription today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.